Hi, this is Rin here with another video for 3.15 Expedition League, and I just wanted to talk about the new post that Path of Exile just posted, and it's the what we are working on. This is very common for them to post something like this, sometimes apologizing, sometimes doubling down, depends a little bit, and I just want to talk about the post and explain it a little bit. Generally, at least for my community and most people, there has been a very smooth launch in terms of servers and stuff like that, with obviously a lot of people not enjoying the changes to the game. But at least we have a very smooth launch, probably the smoothest ever. A lot of people are saying this is due to no one playing, but obviously it's still a large amount of people playing, and I think it's a 25 or 23% fewer players. So yeah, at least they did the servers were really good. Gotta give them credit where credit due, even though personally I'm not enjoying a lot of things in this patch. Either way, let's continue. Obviously, we've seen a lot of people on Reddit talking about concurrent Steam users, etc. Yeah, they posted. To be transparent, the number is 23% fewer players who joined us at launch compared to our all-time record, and this is something we were prepared for. Now, obviously, I live from playing this game, so it's very worrying for me. I'm obviously a little bit worried about retention and stuff for the league, but you know, hopefully it'll be a good thing for Path of Exile long term. Copio. Not every league is going to be a hit. Some will be worse than others. Sometimes people won't like the changes. Hot fixes so far, they're working on fixing a T-posing issue. Thankfully, it's a bug I don't have. I've actually had no bugs this launch. It's personally been my greatest launch. It's been great. Still my second least enjoyable launch. Reaper already got buffed. Survivability at all levels. More bug fixes. And then very early, they allowed Expedition Vendor currency rerolls to drop from excavated chests. More bug fixes, etc. But they're talking about changes coming. Added the missing affix name for a chance to avoid stun on flask effect. That's just a visual fix. Add a display quantity for expedition currency and vendor items. This is very good because when you're buying things, you don't want to check your chests all the time for how much you have left. Can the vendor window show you how many rune artifacts you have? And yeah, they're working on that. Hopefully ASAP. The vendor refresh currency is too rare, and they're keeping Gwenin, and I think that's fair. I get a lot of Gwenin so far personally. I like barely ever get Danig and Rog and Tuyen. Definitely need too little Tuyen. Rog is very strong, so I definitely understand why they didn't have a very high currency reroll on that. But I definitely want a large buff to Tuyen and Rog. Maybe a smaller buff to Rog, since he is so incredibly powerful that I'm kind of surprised they put him in the game. Maybe it's because it's still like less deterministic than Harvest. It's like some sort of hybrid. Were the mana cost multipliers to support gems too extreme? Yes, they were too extreme. Based on feedback and data, we're reviewing the mana cost multipliers again, and we'll be reducing many but not all of them. While we think this impact the mana by a moderate amount, the goal is that mana matters a lot more than it did before. This is good. This was one of my... This was, in my opinion, the worst change, because it kills a lot of builds. Like Herald of Agony is a dead build, at least from what I can see on the surface. Again, like, unless you think about it a lot, maybe there's always some way you can make things work, but yeah, at least the way I used to play it, Herald of Agony is dead. And I specifically built around the mana changes very hard, and made builds that I was like, okay, well, these don't have to deal with mana at all, either through blood magic or through Hierophant Mom build with like insane mana regen. But I mean, I've seen everybody hating mana on most builds. Are there any changes coming to ailment and curse immunity? So it's going up from 1 second to 4 seconds. So staunching fast will make you immune to corrupted blood if they remove corrupting blood from you. Honestly, I think corrupting blood at least should be 6 seconds. Freeze and stuff probably makes sense on 4. I think corrupting blood should be 6, maybe even 8, because it's very unfavorable for a slow, low damage build to kill corrupting blood monsters now. So I think while it's removing something, that buff is quite strong. I honestly don't think this is enough. Like, it's a very big change. You gotta remember, we went from having permanent immunity, regardless if it was already applied or not, to now only functioning if you press your flask correctly. It's a very big change. So I would rather they started with anywhere from like 8 to 12 seconds on that, because it's a very big, it's a complete changeover right from how we use them. And then like going down over time if they feel that was OP. But it's just such a like large difference. But yeah, Arctic Armor will grant freeze immunity. This is huge. Makes Arctic Armor very good for a lot of builds. Aquamarine Flask is being buffed from 40 to 60% freeze production. However, I saw that people were saying they were still getting fully frozen with Aquamarine Flask, so I don't know if it's working as intended. And the map mods that curse the player will no longer apply the curses with increased effect. This means that you can get reduced curse effect very effectively. So that's pretty good. I hate Goatman. Tell me some good news. We're nerfing Goatman, Leap Slams, and Molten Shells in late game. People were literally getting one shot by these. They're insane. Now, I'm in kind of two minds about this. That's something we would get used to over time and stuff. And also, I'm not the biggest fan of just mindlessly slogging through maps. I would rather mindlessly slog through maps and bosses be really challenging. But I would also I do quite like the, charge monsters and having dangerous monsters in maps and having to be scared. I think there's a lot of value in that. But Goatmen are very, very extreme compared to everything else in the game. Why does Expedition have 20 types of currency? So they're saying that each of the vendors need their own type of currency so that if they all share the same one, then we would just be min-maxing the reward from that one. So it's supposed to incentivize each different one. And then here they're basically explaining that they need several tiers because of Trade League, basically. It's what it feels like to me. I think it would be more okay to make them soulbound. Obviously, I'm very biased here. I'm a solo self-found player. I just want me to feel better, right? Yeah, that's what they're basically explaining here. Path of Exile currency and avoid the dangers that having gold would cause. That is fine. I do agree with that to quite a large amount because I've always appreciated Path of Exile having their own currency system and not having gold. I would rather it was a little bit more similar to Delve, where you would get a certain amount of splinters, maybe a variation, that are just deposited into your account based on what tier you're doing and how difficult the encounters are. And same with I would much rather the reroll currencies were also say you got a reroll currency every 3 encounters you get, right? So the more you engage with the mechanic, the more rerolls you get. Not sometimes getting 8, sometimes getting 1. I don't know. I quite like that at least. And I think they should move away from the insane amount of picking up that Path of Exile has. This results in 20 currency items from the vendors, which feels like a lot. However, because you can immediately stash them, the variety currency types doesn't cause for additional inconvenience. I mean, it does though. It does. That's a lot of extra clicks. Regardless of whether we had 1 type, 4, or 20, you'd still have to pick up a few items and stash them. But that is kind of what we're complaining about. There is already such a large amount. It is very impactful for the player every time you add something. There is such an insane amount. There literally needs to be more things like Metamorph. I think it is important. I actually kind of, on the GGG side, I kind of do understand. It is important to make choices and pick things up. But you have so much of that. There are already so much picking up we do. The fact that I make videos that are oh yeah, the best thing in Path of Exile is to not pick up a lot of things and just grind faster, so you get a bigger chance at the big ticket items. That's not a good thing, in my opinion. We feel like gameplay benefits described above, plus the ability to immediately stash them in the field, justify the number of currency items that the league uses. Having said that, we hear you. There are too many types of splinters in Path of Exile, and we will be mindful of this for future design releases. I love GGG. I don't like this. I don't feel very heard here. I feel like we get this very often. I don't feel like this ever changes. When was the last time they did something like Metamorph out of the gate? I definitely feel like there is way too much picking up in Path of Exile. I don't feel particularly heard here. There's so much clicking. Where is the mystery box? We expected to release tomorrow morning. It's slightly late this cycle because one of our team members had a family emergency, but that's all result and everyone is fine. That's good. I don't really like mystery boxes myself. It does sort of prey on the fear of missing out. I'm very susceptible to this. I've used a crazy amount of money. There was whatever box had the Gloomwing mystery box. I really liked the Gloomwing wings. They actually were worse than what it looked like. But I used $800 buying that. It was not worth it. That's why I generally try to stay away from gambling and stuff. I probably should lock the mystery box from my account. I even get 34 mystery boxes usually every league now because I'm a big streamer and obviously they want to promote it, which, I probably shouldn't, but I like free stuff, sue me. I really don't like mystery boxes, and I always end up buying them. I get the free ones and then I buy 50. Either way, some good changes. At least they're communicating, and obviously a lot of people aren't happy. This is definitely not my favorite patch. This is my second worst league launch, my worst being Delirium. because of a horde of performance issues. However, the reason that I am not enjoying this league launch isn't necessarily just the patch. It is mostly because of pride and me being stubborn and stupid. And I should just be like, fuck this stupid challenge. I want to play logout because I enjoy that a lot more. And I don't play hardcore to impress anyone. I don't play hardcore to think I'm better than anyone. I enjoy that risk of like sometimes being able to die. I've always viewed the logout macro as a skill shot with the way they've designed the game. And I enjoy it. I really have fun, and that's all that matters. I've always thought that a softcore player making fun of a hardcore player is stupid. I always thought that a hardcore player making fun of a softcore player is stupid. Just have fun and play the game. I'm currently not having fun, but also my word is law. If I say something, I do it and I never go back on my word. So I'm sitting here crossing my little fingers that Mathel gives up and wants to go back to softcore because he's not having fun. I'm not having fun. Quinn's not having fun, and Steelmage isn't having fun. I think the only one having fun is Noogie. Other than that, a lot of the other changes impact me a lot less. You might also have seen some streamers downplaying Reddit's reactions and saying people are overreacting. And the reason a lot of those streamers, and maybe I also feel like that sometimes, is because you got to remember, we have been playing since 2013. And what does that mean? Well, I'll show you. You got to remember, we played the game when this was the thing. We played when this was the clear speed. I've been playing since 2013. So when a lot of older players are saying that Reddit is overreacting, the players are ungrateful and overreacting, it's because we have already played with way worse speeds and we enjoyed the game back then. So whether like, obviously I'm still enjoying this patch less than normal, but I managed to enjoy the game back then, and I'm 100% positive I will definitely find things that I enjoy now for at least a solid month or two. And then if I don't enjoy it, I will switch to Lost Ark and Diablo 2 Remastered until the next Path of Exile League. But since I have already been enjoying the game back then, it's very easy for me to get a month out of every league at the very minimum, right? So with that being said, you gotta remember, there are loads of people that really like the Zoomer version of Path of Exile. There are a lot of players that don't want to be slow, and that is completely okay. But don't like downplay how other people are feeling about the game. Never like personally attack developers. Never be like, there's no reason for insulting people. Give critical feedback, what you like, what you don't like. But don't downplay how somebody else is feeling about something. I just wanted to make this video talking about things. I hope you guys that are still playing are enjoying the league, and thanks for watching my content. Subscribe if you like my videos. More importantly, try to die less than I do. Please. Less than I do. This is the most I've died ever at a league start. I had 5 deaths in 700 hours last league. I have 3 already. It hurts.